everybody. Welcome to 10 Minute Tuesday. My name is CrysDawna. If you are new here, I am a furniture artist, but on Tuesdays we talk about other things, maybe things that have to do with the business, about painting furniture, all the little things that maybe you don't even know about or people don't talk about, or maybe they do talk about it and I give you my perspective. So, sorry I'm a little bit late today. I actually did something that I want to talk to you guys about. So I decided instead of waking up this morning and hurrying up and doing my 10-minute Tuesday, I wanted to take my time. So I got up, I drank my coffee, I watched the show Alone a little bit, which we've been obsessed with. Really want to go on that show. I really do. And then I decided to go to my best friend's house and we did a trail run in the woods, which I'm super loving. I love being in the woods. So we did a 9.6 mile run. That's like 15.45 kilometers. Yes, you are not hearing me wrong. Her and I have been running together for years and years and years. So that was nice. So what I did is, it's called self-care. I put myself and my mental health and happiness before working. It's not always something that we can do. It's not always something that we should do. When things need to be done, you need to do them. So even though you have I know if you guys have ever had this, where if you've had a million things you want to do or you need to do, and all you want to do is just sit on the couch. I've been there. It happens. So today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about self-care and when to recognize burnout and when to recognize, and maybe little things that you can do for self-care and why it's so important and why you're not alone if you are feeling it. And I think that 2020 has been a year of growth, and it's been a year where people have found who they truly are. And then it's also been a year where it's brought out some ugliness in people as well. But I don't want to be negative about 2020. I think that it allowed a lot of us to spend a lot more time with our families. But then it also allowed a lot of us to spend a lot more time with ourselves. And maybe that is not, maybe some people realize that they were, I don't know. Anyways, we're going to talk about self-care today. So let me start my timer. Okay, where is it? Clock, timer. Cannon, come here. Come here, buddy. Come here. I locked him in here with me. Come here, bud. Come here. Come here. You just sit by me. This guy, I'm so proud of him. He has been running with me. Yesterday he did 4 miles with me. You're only supposed to, just like a human, you're only supposed to increase your mileage by about 0.1% or 10% each week. So he's ran 4 miles with me a few times. We built him up to that. And we just bought him some stuff, huh? We just got him a really good running vest, and my husband thought I was crazy. He says I'm obsessed with my dog. I don't care. So, we got him the top of the line because I want him to be comfortable, huh? Yeah, and stay safe. So, all right, we are going to start our 10-minute timer. There we go. All right, so let's talk about self-care and how to recognize burnout. Now, everybody that watches these videos, whether you have a business or not, or you're getting into a business, maybe you're an influencer or a store owner, a booth owner, whatever, we all have experienced burnout. Okay, so we are going to talk about burnout and self-care. No matter what you're doing, okay, maybe you're not a painter. Maybe you're watching me and you don't do anything close to what I do. Maybe you're a teacher or a nurse, or maybe you are a librarian. I don't know. Maybe you are a stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home dad. Maybe you are an empty nester. Every single person has to practice self-care. And for me, I really noticed it in this business because I work from home. Okay, so a lot of people, when they do what we do, they don't have studios. And even if people have stores, a lot of them don't do their work at their store. They actually do it at home and bring the stuff in the store. Or they don't go into their booth and paint. They do it at home and bring it in, right? So one thing that I had noticed is my workspace was my garage for a long time. And my husband would come home and it'd be, 4:30 in the afternoon, and I would still be out there hours later. And this is my mentality. I'm an all or nothing person. So, and this is something that I know about myself and I try to work on, is that I am like an extremist. So if I'm going to do something, I'm doing it 100 million times %. I don't half-ass anything. And so sometimes that's bad. That's a bad thing, because I will work and work and work and work and work until someone says, just stop. And that person's my husband. So after a while, my husband was like, listen, you are out there. I get home, I'd be like, I have to do this. I have to do this. I didn't have to do it. And I think in the beginning of my business, when I would have customs, people would say, how fast can you do it? And it's human nature as humans. We are like, we want it now. We want it as fast as we can get it. And so, I was like, man, if I can get it to them really fast, that'd be really great. And word of mouth and obviously you don't want your work to suffer. And so I'd be like, oh yeah, you can have it in a week. And then I'd get another custom and they're like, when can you have it? And I'm like, okay, maybe 2 days after that other one. And maybe, and so that was a problem in the beginning of my business, is that I was constantly putting so much on myself to get it out for these people, because I thought that if I said my wait list is 3 weeks out, that they wouldn't want my work, that they would be like, that's too far. But here's the thing that I realized. If somebody wants your work bad enough, they will understand that they have to wait for it. And so this is something that I had to really realize. I had to realize that I needed to stop working when my husband came home, unless it was something like I was getting ready for a show, because I did vintage shows. I had to stop because my family needed me. My husband was home from work. It was time for us to, settle down and play with the kids, or, cook dinner, or whatever it is that we were doing, or go for a walk. And my family was missing out on, a couple hours of every day, because I was just working to get the stuff done for these people, because I was not giving myself grace. I was not being realistic about the expectations that I had for myself, or that I wanted people to have. I was worried that, and that's the same thing with pricing. I was really worried that with pricing, I would give them a price and it would be too high. I know when you first start, you think, I'm just gonna price it at whatever, price to sell, and I don't want to price it too high, especially with customs. If someone comes to you and says, hey, I'd like this painted, what are you gonna charge me? And you're like, oh gosh, I'm not kidding you guys. I did a China hutch, huge China hutch, for $100. And I had missed a spot on the inside. Okay, so the inside of the door, there was like one drip of paint. And of course, the paint drip shouldn't have been there, but this woman made me come and get it and redo it. She got it for $100. And I was like, and that was the moment I was like, this is crazy. What am I doing to myself? I restored an entire piece for her for $150. That is insane. That is so stupid. Don't do that. So self-care also goes with pricing your stuff, or knowing what your worth is. So self-care is not only knowing when to stop working, take that time for yourself, also giving yourself enough time to do projects, because if you don't, and you're not taking care of yourself, and you're not managing your time properly, that is going to compound and you're going to get stressed. But then also, if you're charging this woman $150 to restore a piece, and she says she wants it in a week, you have made no money. I mean, you might as well just, I don't even know. I made so many mistakes in the beginning of my business, and I understand when I told you guys about pricing last week, that was just like a general thing. So when I said pay yourself $10 an hour, that was just a number. Do not pay yourself $10 an hour. The more experienced you are, or the more complex the finishes, pay yourself $30, $40 an hour. Craft tradesmen make $40, $50, $60 an hour. You need to know your worth, and you need to stand by it. Do not apologize for your prices of your pieces. Obviously a lot of us, we need to sell these pieces, but don't let someone come in and lowball you and say, I'll give you half of that. No, you won't. You will either pay it all or you don't get it. So, because people will push you, and they, especially if you're doing it on Craigslist or Marketplace, they don't see the value so much in you. So you have to see the value in yourself, and that goes with self-care. So take care of yourself. Make sure you manage your time right. Stop working. I know, trust me, I know it's hard. I've brought pieces into my dining room just to get them done because it was freezing cold. And my husband was like, oh my gosh, our house is a disaster. But it was things that I had to get done. I cannot tell you guys, I reupholstered a recliner. Never again. My husband talks about that all the time. That's another thing about self-care. Don't take on projects that you can't do. I did it, but I did not enjoy it, and I'm not an upholsterer. So, don't take on projects that you are not 100% confident in that you can do it 100 million times %, because that also goes with self-care. So when we say self-care, a lot of times, because I talked about running in the beginning, you think that I mean go for a run, or, go to the movies, or go, take a break, take a day off. That's not all what self-care is. There are other little layers of that. And that goes with making sure your pricing's right, because then you're not stressing about it. Or you're not stressing about the fact that you just put so much time into a piece and you got $100. Oh gosh. The pricing part of it, the not taking on pieces that because if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I hope and pray that you don't know ever. There are pieces that will suck the life out of you, and you're like, at the end, did I even make anything off of this? Because at the end of the day, this is not a charity. This is a business. And there are some times where we will, gift to other people, and this is a hobby and things like that. But for a lot of people, what becomes a hobby, what is first a hobby, becomes something more. So take care of yourself. Go for runs. Put off your work if you can. Make sure you schedule so that can allow you time. Make sure you do schedules where you can take a day in between a project. Make sure that you price things the way that you should, so that way you're not stressed about the fact that you literally you may as well have just paid that person for the piece, given them money. Does that make sense? I don't know. Or thrown money down the toilet or whatever. So self-care is really important, guys. When you have burnout, because all those things compounding will burn you out. When you feel burnout, that is like when you look at a piece and you're like, I don't even want to paint it. You need to stop, and you need to go and recharge your batteries, recharge your soul, find out why you're doing this. Because again, if you don't do that, then you will walk away and you won't come back. I have been burnt out a few times, and I walk away, and I don't need to apologize for that. And you don't need to apologize for that. Whether you're an influencer or you have customers or whatever, obviously don't stop in the middle of having customers work. But if you are done with all your customs and you decide you don't want to take any more customs for a few months, do not apologize for that. Take a break from customs, take a break from painting, or just do your own thing and don't do what other people want. And that will help recharge your batteries. So I hope this helped you guys. I have to go take a shower. I haven't even showered. Look at my leg. Do you guys see that? Do you see the mud? The mud all over? Yeah. It was a crazy, gross run. Look at it. My hair is mixed with sweat and rain. I know. Disgusting. I'm gross. Anyways, guys, I will see you next Tuesday. Take care of yourself, guys.